Hey everyone, how's everybody doing tonight? It's so good to see you all. Welcome to everyone who's new. Hey, Jennifer. Good to see you. Hi, Miss Thang. Oh, hugs back to you. Hey, Cynthia De La Fuente. How are you? Hi, Dee. Hey, Mary. Good to see you, Daisy. Hi, John. Hey, Serendipity. Hi, Anonymous. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Hey, Lynn, how are you? So good to see you. Hey, CJK. Good to have you here. So good to see everyone. Hi, Jacqueline. Hey, Paris. How are you? Hey, Honda Wither. Welcome. It's good to have everyone here. Hi, Truth Justice. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, Mary, thank you so much. You're most welcome. So, a couple things that I wanted to say right off the bat is bear with me. I have had a really rough couple of days physically, and I'm really not 100% myself tonight. So please bear with me with that. I've had a lot going on personally in my life physically. So just so you guys know, nothing horrible, nobody freak out or worry or anything like that, but I'm not feeling well. I'm on some medication that's really kicking my tush. So I know that over the last couple of days, everyone is all over the place, all over social media. Even though I didn't go live yesterday like so many did, believe me, I was following everything that's been going on. I've been on top of it, and I really know that, I'm there. I've been, listening to my Twitter, paying attention to Reddit, and of course, I have wonderful moderators who also keep me up to date on things. They're quick to text me to let me know about any breaking news, just in case I haven't heard about it. So I don't want you guys to think that I didn't. And I know it took me a while to post my community post about everything that the murder sheet was doing and saying. I know we talked about the stuff in the beginning of the week on Tuesday night, and that was before everything hit yesterday. All the big revelations. So, oh yeah, Paris, it is so true. This medicine is really a lot, and they have me on a really high dose of it. So yeah, it's wreaking havoc on my digestion. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, and thank you, Jennifer. I do get that. But my channel is important to me. Everyone is important to me here. Hey, Daisy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super sticker. That's so I appreciate that so much. I don't think you guys can tell because my background's so dark, but Finn just jumped up on my chair. So he's here with us tonight. Hey, Danger Dave, how are you? I'm so glad to see you. Always glad to have you here with us. So anyway, with all that being said, I just wanted to, if I don't appear to be just my normal self, I just wanted everybody to kind of know why. And so I don't like to disappoint people. And I'm good. How are you? So and like I said, I've taken I've spent a lot of time, a lot of effort to build my channel and to build my community. And I know you guys expect certain things. And so, after you put out that you're going live, the last thing you want to have to do is say you're not. So I'm here and I'm actually feeling a little bit better. So see what you guys do. You guys bring that out in me. So we'll get through this tonight. I think it'll be a good conversation. There's a lot to talk about. Hey, Anonymous. Thank you so much for being here and for your super sticker. Thank you. Thank you again. And hey, Pigeon. Oh, it's okay. YouTube did that. YouTube, you guys always know that I go live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I've been doing that since I started the channel. I won't ever not go live at that time without really making you guys aware of it, like the live before or whatever. It would be really an odd thing for me to go live not at 8 p.m. YouTube's weird sometimes. I've noticed that on other channels where they show that they're going live in a certain amount of time, yet they're not going live for 12 hours. So, it's just, I hate blaming YouTube, but it certainly isn't me. My thumbnail said the right time. So whatever YouTube's telling you, I apologize for that. Hey, Zooter. Good to see you. Oh, I like that when all my people are in the house. I like it. Sorry, you're listening to Finn. He's sneezing. He does that sometimes. So if you hear that noise, that's him. So where do we begin? There's a lot to talk about. I've had a lot of emails. Hey, Carrie, I had a lot of email to get through. People were blowing up my phone. People were blowing up my email to tell me, what do you think? How do you feel about this? And honestly, I have to tell you, I am not sure how I feel about it all. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's not. I just don't want, we've all been here before. We've all been here before where we thought for absolute certainty something was happening and then nothing happened. And I don't want to get people's hopes up. I don't want to get people thinking this is it, but a lot of things are going on behind the scenes. We've been talking about this for months. There's a lot of critical people out there about law enforcement. In fact, I see that more and more every day, that there's more and more criticism of law enforcement simply because we don't know what law enforcement is doing. They're not here to tell us that, you guys. They don't owe that to us. Honest to God, they don't. They're doing a job, and their job is to investigate a case and build a case so that they can bring someone to justice for these horrific murders. And what I believe is, oh yeah, truth, justice. Honestly, this is the farthest thing from a cold case, in my opinion. Absolutely. So where do we stop the momentum and take a step back and try to really think of everything with really clear eyes, and not through our biases and through the things that we want it to be? So there are so many things that's being put out there, and there could be a number of reasons for those things to be put out there for. We don't know. For us to absolutely factually say, we just don't know. Now, it certainly sounds to me like whoever this person is that's the source for the murder sheet sounds like they have an in to law enforcement. If they are not actually in law enforcement, they're close to the case. And they know things for some reason, whether it be the fact that they're in the court system, whatever. These people or this person knows. And I had someone say to me, well, you have to believe everything that they're putting out because everything that they've put out has been true. Well, we know that there's been a lot of documents that they've dropped that seem to be pretty factual, the documentation. We also know that Kevin Greenlee's an attorney, so he has access to things in my case world that we don't. So we can't see everything in that clear eye or picture that they are seeing it in. I've interviewed and had the murder sheet on my show way back in March when everything first blew up with them. And I really got a feel for them and really feel that they care about the case. So I don't think that they're going to honestly put things out there that's going to hurt the case. But with all of that being said, I've been critical of them as well through this process. I know that there are people that believe that law enforcement is absolutely feeding them all of this information, and they want this information out for whatever the reason may be. I have some ideas. I will talk about them a little bit later. I just want to get through what happened. So most everybody probably already knows all of this, but for those who may watch my live stream later or are new to this case, I want to make sure that I don't leave anybody behind and assume that they know. So last Friday on the 19th of August, there was a motion placed on Kegan Kline's My Case in the state of Indiana. And the motion was to release him from custody from the Miami County Sheriff's Office and place him into the custody of the Indiana State Police. This was a temporary request, and once their use of what they needed him for, he would be returned back to the custody of Miami County. Which, when we stop to think about that in itself, the only reason that I can see them taking Kegan out of the custody of the sheriff's office is because he was going to take them somewhere, show them something or give them an idea of perhaps something visual that he could lead investigators to see. And that could be an escape route. That could be all kinds of different things. It could be where evidence was destroyed, or evidence was placed or thrown away, or whatever. Hence, we get to the searching of the Wabash River off of a bridge behind where Tony Kline and Kegan Kline lives in Peru, Indiana. We've seen the pictures. If you haven't, I posted some of them on my thumbnail. The Murder Sheet put their pictures out. They're all over Reddit. You can find them there. Hey, Just Pam. Oh, it's always good to have you, late or not. I'm glad you're in the house. So anyway, they took a lot of pictures. Now, what happened was the Murder Sheet said they got a tip. They did not say if this is the same person who's giving them the information that they've been releasing, but they did say that they received an anonymous tip, or a tip. I guess it wasn't anonymous, it was a tip, because they said that they believed the person that gave them the tip. And they ran out of their house, jumped in their cars, and drove to Peru, because the person that tipped them told them that there was a search going on of the Wabash River, and that it was a relationship to Kegan Kline, which I'm sure got them thinking all kinds of things about what that could mean and what that could be. And for them, they live south of Indianapolis, so that's kind of a heck of a drive for them to just jump in the car and head to Peru. That took some hours to get there, a couple hours to get there. And so anyway, they get up there and the police have things kind of cordoned off, but they were able to get a really good view of what was happening off of the bridge and under the bridge. And so they took photographs of these men in the water. Some of them had shovels. Some of them had metal detectors. And I heard locals on Reddit say that they searched actually a couple of days. They were there for a couple of days. Now, I don't know if that's true. I know that they left while the Murder Sheet was there, because they said they didn't know if they found anything, but maybe they left and came back the next day. Maybe it was just one day. I don't know. But this happened yesterday, Tuesday, I think, is when it happened. And then they released the information yesterday. So while they're up there in Peru, looking at all this stuff that's happening and all the goings on, meanwhile, there's things happening on my case that I don't think they were aware of either. The court was unsealing all of the documents related to Kegan's CSAM case, and then they also resealed them. And there was a motion placed by Kegan's attorney, who asked to postpone the pretrial hearing that was set for September. He wanted that postponed because they are in active negotiations. Now, we know, and those of us who work around this stuff and know how this kind of stuff works, the plea deal kind of stuff was over and done with once the jury trial was set. Most generally, when they've set a jury trial, they don't enter into any more negotiations for plea deals. Those are done and over with. Everything has been exhausted. And we were told by Kegan's attorney way last December that they were done trying to get a deal. There was going to be no plea deal. There was going to be nothing. And the attorney for Kegan came out and said that. So what's going on? What are these negotiations? And what do they have to do with Delphi, if anything? I know a lot of people are rushing and everybody wants this case solved. We all do. We all want justice for Abby and Libby. We all want it to come to an end. We want the perpetrator of this horrible murder to actually, oh, Mary, good. I'm so glad. I am so glad you do. And the locals who asked the police what they were doing, supposedly, again, this is hearsay, the police told the locals that it was a training exercise. Now, I don't think the police are going to tell you that they're there searching for evidence in the Delphi murders, even if they were. They're not going to tell you that they're there searching for evidence against Kegan or Tony Kline. So it is, to me, it just makes sense that they would tell somebody who asked them it's just a training exercise. I think we all know that it seems extremely unlikely that they would be doing a training exercise behind Tony and Kegan's house in Peru, Indiana. However, the Wabash River is extremely low right now. And it just wasn't, I just don't believe what I saw in those pictures was training. I believe they were searching, and they were actively searching for something. And what would that be? Well, it could be a lot of things. I don't know how long clothing would remain in water 6 years later. If it would, I would think it would still be there. So they could be looking for clothing. They could be looking for weapons, a gun, a knife. They could be looking for technical, digital information, phones, cameras, all of those kinds of things that could easily have been thrown over that bridge or thrown off of that bridge. Hey, Unsolved. Hey, Allie, how are you? We just because they had metal detectors doesn't mean that they weren't also looking for something else. They could have been looking for all sorts of things. But something led them there. I do not believe that out of the blue, the Indiana State Police decided to go traipsing through the Wabash River on a Tuesday in August for the heck of it. Something led them there. Now, was it something that Kegan has told them? I don't know. I keep going back and forth on that as to what would have led them there, but something tells me that Kegan has led them there. Is Kegan lying? Is he just trying to buy time? Is he trying to, we know Kegan lies. Has he told them some wild, crazy story? Possible. The fact that they say that Kegan Googled the marathon station on Washington Street in Delphi, which is 1.1 miles away from the Monon High Bridge, as a crow flies. I think it's farther if you actually have to drive it, but it's 1.1 miles as the crow flies. And if you look at the location on a map, which I was going to try and have that for you guys tonight, and it just did not work out because of how I've been feeling. But there is, if you Google map it with pins and you put a pin on the marathon station and a pin on the Monon High Bridge, you can see where they walk right across the ball fields. They could walk right across the ball fields and kind of get there if they were walking. But I firmly believe that there was probably a car involved in that if we're to go off of everything else that we know. So I heard something last night on a YouTuber's channel that I was watching, and they were talking about Riley Park. And the girls used to hang out in Riley Park. And I wasn't aware of that. But that's what they're saying, that's where their friends would meet up with them and stuff. And if you look at this from what they were saying, you can walk from the southeast side of the Monon High Bridge through the woods to Riley Park. That I thought was very interesting as well. So we're back to, why did the Indiana State Police decide to take custody of Kegan and take him out of the jail? Because it's, from everything I understand, he's back in jail. He is back in their custody. So whatever happened wasn't a long trip. And yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of things that we could speculate and say, yeah, that's this, and that's, this is pointing to that. I just want everybody to be careful, because it may very well be that he's pointed them to someone, but it's not them. It very well could be that as well. There's been so much since December about the Klines, and when everybody was firmly thinking that it was definitely the Klines in December and January, and then in February, then things kind of quieted down. People stopped really talking about it. To me, it's just crazy how it goes in these cycles. And I am just still not 100% convinced that these two men committed these murders. I do believe that they're horrible people. I believe that they both deserve punishment for the CSAM, if nothing else. I think that Kegan definitely was shocked in that interrogation about the small children that under 10 that were involved in the devices, and that somebody was talking to them. And if you recall, Dave Vito told them that they have many, many, many chats. They are very well aware of lots of chatting and transcripts that was going on in that house with young girls. And I definitely believe there's a connection. I have no doubt that there's some sort of a connection. I just wonder if it hasn't more to do with the Dropbox. But you know, it's just mind-boggling. But like I said, this could be the beginning. This could be the absolute beginning of us seeing this case come to fruition. We could be actually watching the first domino fall in a whole line of dominoes. And again, all the circumstantial evidence in the world is, there's tons of circumstantial evidence against them. There's tons of circumstantial evidence against other POIs in this case. But also, as we have all said, you have to be able to place them at the bridge. In a court of law, and when you're sitting there in front of jurors and you talk about, well, we think these guys did it, but we can't 100% tell you that they were in those woods that day. Do they look like bridge guy? Do they look like the guy on the bridge? How many people, we've taken polls, do not believe that those two look like the man on the bridge? Just because we believe something doesn't make it true. Just because we want it to be true doesn't make it so. And I have said over and over again, and I will continue to say, I don't have to be right. I don't have to be right. I just want them caught. Whoever did this, I want them caught. And I also don't want the wrong people charged. I don't want scapegoats. I don't want something pinned on someone because it's easy to pin on them. And I don't either, Truth Justice, but I have never heard a really good audio of Tony. So I don't know, but I definitely do not think that voice is Kegan's for sure. So all of those things, but again, look at all the stuff we've looked at in this case. There has been so much that we've looked at in this case, and we thought we knew what was going on. I mean, so many people talked for years. There was absolutely no social media involved in this. There was no catfishing. There was not this, absolutely not. And here we are, nearly 5.5 years later, and we know that's not true. We also know that the FBI was absolutely honed in on Ron Logan from the very beginning. They firmly believed that was their man. Why wouldn't they? He was there. He lied about an alibi. He is in proximity to the location he lives there. He was constantly shooing people off of his property. They have evidence of him being a violent person, especially when he was drinking. There's so much circumstantial evidence around him. And so the FBI looked at him, and they looked at him hard. And that's what they were thinking. They thought, oh my gosh, we have our guy. Hey, Freckled Joy, welcome. And we know that's not true. One of the things that bothers me about what was released in December was they did not come out, law enforcement did not come out on that briefing and say, we need the public's help. If anyone has had contact with Kegan Kline, please come forward. If he's tried to catfish you using a profile called Anthony Shots, please come forward. They didn't say that. They only talked about the Anthony Shots profile. And they already knew that Kegan was the mastermind of that profile and started it, because he admitted that to them back in 2020 in August when they arrested him and put him in jail. They only asked about Anthony Shots. They have never, ever talked about Kegan being a part of or attached to or close to the Delphi murder case. Law enforcement has never done that. The only people that have done that has been us, the people who have gotten this information that was in a dump, basically, that the murder sheet got wind of and started talking about, and everybody started reading the transcripts, reading the interviews, listening to the interview on HLN when he was on with Barbara McDonald, and talking to him and assuming that all this stuff that they were asking him was pertinent information regarding Delphi. So I'm not saying that that conclusion isn't right. All I'm saying is that law enforcement has never said that, and they still have no charges in the Delphi case. I just want to bring that out because I'm a person that's lived long enough through some major, major crimes in this country and world to know that rushing to judgment is never a good thing. It's never a good thing. It's not a good thing for the case, and it's just not a good thing for us. And I don't want to see everybody emotionally let down if this turns out to not be Delphi related. That's all I'm saying, is we just need to take a step back, take a deep breath, pray that they're continuing to do their due diligence, their good work, and that they are uncovering more and more every day to build a case against who they know did this. Because I do believe law enforcement knows. And there are a lot of layers to this case. A lot of things that haven't come out. And I go back to, and I know I'm going to get heat for this, but I go back to Doug Carter telling us and Tobe Lesenby telling us everyone will be shocked at who this is. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't be shocked if it was Tony or Kegan. That's not going to shock me. And I stand firm on that. So when they say this, I definitely believe that, yes, they could very well be involved in some fashion with all of this. But did they actually commit the crime? I do not believe so at this time in where I'm at. And I could absolutely be wrong. I don't have to be right. But there's just so many things that just don't make sense to me, and they still don't make sense to me today. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those, it's just one of those things. But I wanted to say, I did make some notes. You guys know me. I'm a note person. So I wanted to go over some of the stuff I was thinking about. Everybody says that Tony doesn't know he's not technically inclined because he's an old guy. And I honestly take offense to that because Tony's not that old. He knows how to post to social media. Tony was posting very well to his Facebook page. You know, he was really good. He obviously was good with his phone, because he was taking photographs at car shows and with his friends when they were all out and posting that on his Facebook. So he knows how to use Snapchat. He knows how to use Instagram, and he was using Kik probably as well with very little to no problem. So to me, when you look at the interview and the interrogation transcript of Kegan, there's a lot of stuff that he was not familiar with. When Vito was talking about the young children that were found on some of the devices, he was actually wigged out about that and disgusted by it, and said that you could see that he was caught off guard. He didn't know that they would find something like that. And I don't believe that he had a clue that that stuff was on there, because his dad was the one responsible for that shit. Sorry. Sorry, YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. I just wonder who was doing the searches, even though some of those devices were definitely Kegan's devices. Was it Kegan doing the searches, or was it Tony? And again, excuse me, those are things that law enforcement absolutely has to know the answer to. When they go to court, they can't stand before a jury and say, well, this stuff was on this device and we're pretty sure it was Kegan's phone, but we don't really know. It was either Kegan or his dad. That doesn't fly, you guys. They have to be able to say 100% who did those searches. Go back to the Casey Anthony case. Go back to the Casey Anthony case and the searches that happened on the computer in the house, and they did not know who did those. You've got 3 people living there, plus you've got other people in and out. You can't tell. It's really hard digitally to tell, but they caught Tony because they used a linguist. They used a linguist and came in and examined who was talking to who, talking to the girls, and how they communicated. And they knew that they had 2 people with distinctive speech patterns talking to these young girls. So, as for who is law enforcement seriously looking at for this crime, I believe it's Tony above Kegan. I don't believe they're looking at Kegan at all. I think they're looking at Tony. I don't think it was an accident that interrogation transcript got leaked. I think that was a way for them to let Tony know, hey, bud, we're on to you. And to possibly put pressure on Kegan and Tony. They told him They told Kegan in the interrogation that they also had GPS information on both him and his dad's phone. So when someone is chatting away online about the 40-year-old daddy stuff, and the son is at his friend's house on the other side of town getting high, law enforcement knows who's who. Hey, Danger Dave, drive safe, okay? I think Kegan is young, lonely, socially awkward, physically he's got a physical handicap with seizures. This kid is somebody who, being awkward and awkward around girls, felt comfortable chatting with them and being someone else online. He was able to manipulate Libby into thinking he was this thin, tattooed, rich boy online. And I think Tony is in the chat rooms talking with pedophiles because that's his thing. And he was talking about children as young as 3 years old. That's one sick human being. Knowing all of the violence in Tony's past that we've heard about from the murder sheet since February, all of the horrific things that he did to his children and to his wives, he's definitely a sociopath in my opinion. And I'm not a doctor, but man, the guy is really messed up and scary. I do believe that law enforcement is looking hard at Tony. And I believe the FBI, has probably profiled this killer for sure. And they have told them exactly what type of person they're looking for. And I believe that he fits into that profile nicely. When you listen to the experts talk about these guys, they start out as voyeurs. A lot of times they start out that way, wanting to just look, and they're just real visual type of people. Tony, from the time he was in young boy, young high school, early high school age, we know was window peeping and was peeping in windows and watching women. So that goes to speak to that as well. But I don't know. I don't necessarily know what Kegan knows about what happened on February 13th, 2017 in Delphi. I think that he may suspect. And if he did know and he was part of it as far as driving, being a driver, I don't see that because of his seizure disorder. I think that that's taking a huge risk on Tony's part of letting Kegan be his getaway person. I think with what we know that Kegan said happened on that morning, I think he probably slept late. And he didn't know where his father was in the afternoon or what his dad was doing. The person who committed these crimes has zero conscience. To me, it's a bona fide psychopath. Doesn't think twice about what they did. In fact, went home, probably sat down, flipped on the television and watched the coverage because he could relive what he had just done. That's, in my mind, that's what I see of this person who did this. And it would take somebody with no conscience to do what he did to Abby and Libby. I mean, it just just an merciless killer is the way I see it. It could very well be possible that Kegan does know everything that happened and that he's just simply covering for his dad. And he could be doing that just out of fear of his father. So, yeah, I do know that there was a text sent. I don't know what time of day the text was sent. I don't know that it was ever said anywhere what time of day the text was sent on when he was talking to them. If it was at 1 o'clock in the morning on the 13th, when he was asking to meet up with them, I don't know. I have never seen anything anywhere, transcript or otherwise, where they said what time of day a text was sent to Libby. So I'm just giving you my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them, but this is a respectful chat and we don't attack people. So that's what's happening there when people are asking people to not. So the 13th is a lot of time, and a lot of time these guys are up talking and doing their stuff. It's not the middle of the day. They're talking at night. They're up with these girls when everybody else is asleep, and so that no one knows that they're doing it. So I don't know when he asked Libby about meeting him. We'll find that out, I'm sure, at some point. Delphi brings out incredible anger and vitriol, and it's beyond me. I don't understand why people feel the need to attack others. You absolutely have to be that right about how you believe. If it's not your way, it's going to be horrible. I mean, I don't understand. We all want the same thing. We want Bridge Guy caught, right? It doesn't matter whose scenario is the right one. It really, truly doesn't. What matters is the fact that law enforcement is onto them, whoever it is. Hi, Dave. Welcome back. So glad to see you. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's real easy to take information and say it's fact and make it and build a narrative out of it. We have a lot of information. None of it has been corroborated by law enforcement to say that we are actually looking at these people for Abby and Libby's murder. We're all assuming they are. We have to admit that. We're all assuming it. And we're assuming it because we're being fed information by the murder sheet. And all I'm saying is take a step back, take a deep breath, and let's just watch what unfolds here. Because I really do believe they're onto something. I've felt that way for a long time. Here in the summer, well, probably for the last 8 weeks or so, I kind of was getting the feeling that things may have slowed down a little bit, but obviously I was wrong. Obviously, they're looking at something. They're not going to take him out of jail like that for no reason. So, whether or not it's related to his own case or whether or not it's related to this case, that remains to be seen. Now, the murder sheet says their source says that it's absolutely related to Kegan Kline. So, exactly, Truth Justice. Murder sheet is not law enforcement. And everyone, says, well, they're great investigators. Look at everything that they've done. Not if the police is feeding them this information. That doesn't make them great investigators. That makes them a tool of the police. And I just, when I know that we've talked about mistakes being made in this case and bumbling and all of that's happened with law enforcement and what could have happened. But come on, you guys, the entire ISP and Carroll County Sheriff's Office are not all bad people. They're not all colluding to be involved in this. And I just, I can't go there. I'm not going there. And Kathleen's actually right, because when you bring in eyes from the outside of the local area and you actually start researching, and researching is not just reading things on Reddit or reading things on Twitter or listening to a podcast. That's not research, you guys. That is not research. That's just spreading what you've heard. So Kathleen says some of us who are not from that area out of state actually come into these sites in order to put pieces together, to educate ourselves what has gone on over time, different thoughts, different views. Absolutely, because I've always said, listen to other people's views, other people's thoughts. You're going to learn something. You are going to learn something. You may not like everything that they've said, but you're going to learn something. So KCAP, in the interrogation, Dave Vito tells him, we know that you were in contact with Libby the day she disappeared or went missing. That was what was said in the transcript. We also know that he was Anthony Schatz. Now, whether it was him that communicated with her or it was Tony, we know somebody using the Anthony Schatz profile communicated with with Libby the day they went missing. One of the biggest things that you have in cases like this, when you have multiple jurisdictions working together, come on, you guys, anybody that's ever worked on a team, anybody who's ever worked on a, whether it be some sort of a sports team or whether it's a team at work where you're all trying to work towards a common goal, you know that it doesn't always go smoothly. You always have people who aren't going to be in agreement or think their way's the best way, or why aren't we doing this way? So yeah, I mean, okay, so I know I've got a lot of new people in here tonight that I've not seen before. So let's start out by this so that I can get this all straight for everybody who's in my channel. Kelsey German contacted everyone she could think of to see if they knew where Libby might be. Her friends in her phone, contacts in her phone, contacts in her Instagram account. Guess who was in her Instagram account? Somebody by the name of Anthony_Shots. She contacted them on Instagram and asked them if they knew or had any idea where Libby might be. She was missing. It is not crazy. It's not weird. It's not wild. Come on, guys. She was trying to find her sister. And police probably asked her, do you know of anyone who might know where the girls are? And I am absolutely fed up to here with everyone pointing fingers at Kelsey. So if you feel that way, you need to exit this chat immediately because it's not going to be tolerated. I am so tired of it. She has been through hell and back, and I'm not going to put up with it. She was merely trying to, and if that's what you meant, K-Cap, then I'm all for it. Yeah, completely insane. Can you imagine the guilt that she takes on a daily basis, knowing that she may have talked to the person who was responsible for her sister's death that day? So, and who are you asking to relax? Because I'm over that. If that was you speaking to me, then you need to leave. We respect each other here, and we don't treat each other like that. Thank you, you guys, and I'm sorry that you had to listen to that. It just makes me so angry when people have to behave that way. I don't understand. And it's just crazy. But anyway, there's just a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that points to them. And all I can say is that, good night, Savannah. See you guys, or see you later. Thanks for being here. There's just a lot of stuff that does point to them, but that doesn't make them guilty. And we need to remember that no matter who gets arrested in this case, you guys, they are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And we can never forget that. We don't live in the Wild West. We don't hang people before they've been to court. Okay? We just don't. That's not how justice in our country is supposed to work. Anyway, but it angers all of us. I think the fact that I think it brings out all of our real deep-seated emotions when we think about the Klines, and we know that they knew about the Klines way back 11 days after the murders. They raided their house. And I think it makes everyone upset to realize that. Jennifer, thank you so much for your super sticker, hun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it makes us hard to understand why the whys. And like Doug Carter told us, whether you like him or whether you don't, he told us that one day he'll be able to tell us why things happened the way they did. And yes, Truth Justice, we were on to something early on, but they were steered in the direction of Ron Logan. And I firmly believe that. And they went hard towards him, and they disregarded what was right in front of them with the two people who went to Vegas immediately after the murders. You have to remember what they asked us. You know, is anyone in your life done anything different or strange? Have they changed their appearance? Did they suddenly take a trip? Did they suddenly disappear? Did they, whatever? I mean, we have to ask those questions regarding these two. And we know that they set up fake stuff on Facebook to make it look like they were, you know, here when they weren't. And Dave, thank you so much. I sometimes don't feel awesome. I don't like to get angry like that. It's not, I really don't. But it just makes me upset when people want to come into your channel and behave like that in your chat. And it's there's no purpose to it. And then to mistreat my mods and to talk back and down to the moderators that are trying to keep everything calm, it just upsets me. But thank you. I know that there's multiple layers to the case. There's multiple layers to the players in this case. And all I can tell you is, you know, I said it, it's my saying for my channel: behind the crime door, where nothing is ever as it seems. You might think that's a cliche, but it is actually the truth. Nothing is ever as it seems. And just remember that. And especially when we're looking at this case, and yeah, Pam, they know that they were there, that they were out there. There was a phone that was recovered while they were in Las Vegas. The story about that phone's hilarious because Kegan says they found it on the seat of a rental car, but it had all the search stuff about Sandy Hook, about how long does DNA stay on dead bodies, dead bodies being in water. I think there was another search about that. I'd have to go back and really reread the transcript, but oh, Miss Thang, be careful. I don't know about that. But I do have a temper. So I do. And it doesn't come out very, very often, but I hate to have it come out here. I just get mad when people are trying to point or make innuendo towards Kelsey as to why Kelsey did or said or whatever. Kelsey was a child. She was a young girl, and everybody expects this young girl to be perfect, and they've never been through anything like that. They have no idea how they would react to their sister being brutally murdered at the age of, she was between 16 and 17 when Libby passed away. And bye, Pigeon. So I have boundaries, and when I get pushed, I get mad. It's just that simple. And yeah, I thought she was 16, Zooter. I thought she was 16, not 17. So yeah, she's 16 years old, and emotionally, she is nowhere near being an adult at the age of 16. And she's been through a lot. She had to grow up really fast there at the end. And I'm glad I watched her grow up. I think we all have. She's done a really good job in the eye of this community that is so unforgiving. I think she takes a ton of it on Twitter, but it's okay, Jennifer. It's okay. You fold that laundry, girl. Thanks, Miss Thing. My daughter, who comes in, she mods for me every now and then, Shelby. She will tell you that I am the best advocator that anyone could ever have. So, and that's from my grown daughter. So, oh, they're out there for sure, you guys. But so that's the stuff. I mean, that's what's going on in the Delphi case. And, the point is that we don't know. There's so much that we just don't know. And I'm not going to be one that just assumes things just because it's easy to do that. I'm going to always be the one that stands back and says, let's take a minute. But I do believe, honestly, you guys, I believe that things are happening, and I do feel good about that. Because I do want to see this case solved. I can't imagine the things that Kelsey thinks about it every night before she goes to sleep. What if I had gone with them that day, like they asked me to? What if, all the what ifs that she asked herself. And none of that is fair. And I know that she's been through counseling, and she's currently still seeing a therapist, which I'm thrilled about. And she even says that, she's forgiven the man who did this, or whoever did this. And to me, that speaks volumes for her as to who she is as a person. She had to do that for herself so that she could move on. Today's the day. Daisy, I'm telling you what, I feel like the day is getting closer and closer. And every time I see Becky tweet, today is the day, my heart swells, because I know how badly, I know how badly they want this and need this. Well, they're out there, Miss Thang, as we all know, right? There are creators that are out there blaming the family to this day. Even with all the stuff that's come out in this case, they are still saying that it's a family member. So, well, K-Cap, I'm sorry about that. Then you haven't been around the case very long, because it's everywhere. And it is horrible. And there are some content creators that are respected that do it. So, and she was so hounded on Twitter that before she got married this summer, she actually had to leave Twitter for a while because it got so bad, and she wanted to be able to focus on being happy because she was getting married. So it's I just try to stay neutral on all of that and stay out of the muck, as I call it, because there's definitely a lot of muck around this case. And I will always have and be a voice for the families and the victims. How are you guys all doing out there? Everybody all calm down and good? Does anybody how do you guys all feel about what happened this week? What are your thoughts? You heard mine. You heard me talk about what's going on. What do you guys say? We got about 15 more minutes and then I'm going to head out of here. So you guys tell me what you think about what the murder sheet said and dropped. And very wise, Pam. No problem, Michelle. I haven't had dinner. I didn't feel like eating. I was just did not feel like it. I try to, Miss Thing. I try very hard to stick to the facts. I feel that I'm a fact-based channel, and I absolutely don't like it when other things are brought up that aren't, and that are meant or shown to be. Yeah, Truth Justice, I agree with you. It is very interesting and bears watching. And yeah, I don't have a conclusion on it yet either. Kathleen, that's all we can do, right? Is pray that it is about it. She says, do you think the search in the river is about the Delphi case or something else related to the Klines? It's for Delphi. Praise it's for Delphi and closure and justice. Yeah. Yeah, Barbara. Law enforcement, unfortunately, they're not going to address anything on this case until Bridge Guy is caught. I am firmly and absolutely sure on that of anything. They're not going to talk about this case anymore until Bridge Guy is caught. When they stopped doing their press conferences about the case, the yearly ones that they were doing, I knew at that point they weren't going to talk about it anymore. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. He says one of the Klines or both, not sure. Good night, Daisy. You have a good one. Yeah, Dave, you're absolutely right. They did do the same thing in the Kylie case, and now they all have egg on their face. I mean, we still don't know exactly what happened. If Kylie, I think the telltale thing will be, did Kylie drowned? Is that why she died, or was she dead before she went in the water? Those are going to be the things that are telling of what happened to her in that case, but I don't know. And again, we have to wait for toxicology and we have to wait for the autopsy to come out. And because of her being a minor, we may never know. They may not tell us. So I think her family might at some point, but it'll be interesting. Miss Thing says, I'm not ruling anyone out at this point, but with the latest revelations, I think the Klines are involved somehow. Yes, I've always felt that they were involved somehow. Always, always. Sorry, guys. I don't know what I did there. That was pretty bizarre. I was there 1 minute and thrown out of the studio in the next minute. Yes, Barbara. The last time was about shots. No, the last time was when they put out when it was live of them live. They actually put out a a briefing or whatever you want to call it about the YOLO or Yubo or whatever it was called, the yellow app that was everybody was talking that they had to go to France for. That came after. Yeah, sadly, KCAP, we don't have enough to go off of with a timeline and facts of that day. We just don't, not when it comes to timeline and time. The only thing we have to go off is what Becky Patty has said as far as time, and Kelsey, as far as when the girls were dropped off, and everything else is kind of been people trying to figure things out, but nothing law enforcement has actually told us except what happened on the bridge. And they did tell us about what time the Snapchat photo took place. 6 minutes later, bridge guy was on the bridge with them, and that the video is totally 43 seconds long. So that's about all we know. So I do, it drives us all crazy, Mark. You are not the only one. I hear that daily in my emails, and people always ask me when and if I think it's going to be solved. I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. But I'm right there with you. I hope it's solved sooner than later. And I guarantee you that the families feel that way tenfold more than we do. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to do my drawing for tonight. So give me a minute to pull up my my giveaway tool. And tonight we are going to we're going to use hashtag friend with a capital F. So tonight, the giveaway is a Abby and Libby bracelet. I give away a bracelet on all of my lives. So if you want to be entered in the drawing, you have to type hashtag friends with a capital F, and you'll be entered into the drawing. And then my giveaway tool will draw from all of you that enter. Hey, Tech Death, good to see you. Yeah, John, yours was mailed out, so it's on its way to you. Just friend, not friends. Jennifer, no S, just friend. So if you guys do win, you will need to email me your information so that I can send it to you, and I'll get that sent out to you. You're welcome. Pam, there's no S on the end, you guys. It's just friend. Just friend. Hey, Gonzo. How are you? So good to see you here. Just Pam, make sure you fix it, okay? You had an S on the end. Make sure you go back in and fix it. Anybody who wants to be in the drawing, just put in #friend. And it's for, we're drawing for one of the Abby and Libby bracelets. Wait till I say it's a brand new car. That's coming soon. I'll be driving. I'll be drawing for a brand new car. It isn't rigged. You guys crack me up. Hey, Gonzo, how are you, sweetie? So good to see you here. Good job, Pam. I was waiting for you to get it. Has everybody entered that wants to enter? Well, not exactly like Oprah, Barbara, but yes, you will get a car. You'll get a car that's about that long. You know, I love all you guys and all my Doors friends. The Doors are the best, absolute best community ever. You guys are amazing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw, guys. Oh my goodness. It's absolutely rigged, you guys. This is rigged. You're not going to believe this. Jennifer Rochelle. Congratulations, Jennifer. Just make sure you email me your stuff and I'll get it sent out to you. You guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. Jennifer's like, I finally won something. I finally won something. Hilarious. I think you know my email address. All right, you guys. Yes, Tech Death mods can win. Thanks, Kathleen. I'm glad you're here. We do have really good people here. We really do. A nice community. So, but all right, guys, I'm going to head out. It was good to see you all. And I will see you all on Saturday night. Have a good weekend. And be safe out there. And always pay it forward, you guys. Always pay it forward. Justice for Abby and Libby is coming. Gonzo's coming my way. Thanks, Truth Justice. I'm so glad you're here. You guys all be safe out there. Good night, everyone.